Hey, welcome to all of you. I'm actually coming to you today from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and today is July 3rd, which, if you're a history buff like I am, you will know that July 3rd is the final day of the Gettysburg battle. So this is the day when everything culminated and the Union was finally able to overtake the Confederates and win the Battle of Gettysburg. So it's quite a monumental day, but we're not actually here to talk about the history. I know, I could talk about history all day long, but today we're actually here to do, well, actually, it is kind of a history. It's the recap of what I did in June. I love doing these monthly recaps where I get to share with you what I have completed on my crochet to-do list, what I have used up in my yarn stash, and what I've bought. And am I winning the game of trying to reduce the stash? Now, for some of you, most of you probably, you don't know, I've only been crocheting for about a year, and I'm not a big spendy kind of person, so don't go out and buy a ton of yarn. But I did have an amazing opportunity to get gifted a tremendous amount of yarn from my mother-in-law. She gave me a lot of yarn to get started. And because I tend to be more on the thrifty side, I like to try and use up what I have rather than just kind of go out and buy a whole bunch of new yarn. Not that I don't like to buy new things. I like the value of using what I already have. So for me, I like keeping track of what I've used up and what I've purchased and all of that kind of good stuff. But let's start with the fun. What did I make in June? Well, the very first thing I did, well, I don't know, was it the first? I'm not sure. But I finished another Cleo fedora, and this one is for me. Coincidentally, it actually just happens to perfectly match my shirt today. But I don't know if it's formed right now because I can't see in the picture. But this is my Cleo fedora. It's the first one I've made in the blue. I absolutely love this country blue color. Perfect for a lot of the outfits that I wear, especially when I'm out RVing, because I tend to wear a lot of red, white, and blue kind of colors. But I can change the band to match different outfits. So right now, because tomorrow is July 4th, I've got kind of a red and white band to go with the red, white, and blue type of a theme. So I love this hat. I love that you can totally squish it up and throw it in your backpack. So if you're out for the day, maybe you go inside and you don't necessarily want a hat, but then you're outside and you're going through parks and different things, or you're going to the beach and you need something that is easy to just pack away, but also super gonna, protect you from the sun. This is just, I just love this hat. And this is my, I believe it is the 5th one that I've made. So I'm getting better at the pattern. I'm still working on it. I've said it before, there is beauty in nature, and even with imperfections, things can still be beautiful. This is not exactly what to me, it's not perfect yet, but I'm getting there. So that is definitely one of the things that I made. I also made, because I've been RVing, and I should have brought the pole for you, I crocheted, this looks like just an average rectangle. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, I talked about this, but this is actually a Swiffer cover. So it goes over the pad part of a Swiffer mop, and it just has little pockets. This is made with a cotton yarn, 100% cotton. So I can put this on my Swiffer mop, spray the floor with some, I use vinegar water with just a tiny little bit of dish soap so that it's an all natural kind of cleaner, and have a reusable mop pad that I can throw in with my other laundry while I'm out on the road, and I don't have to carry these big bags of or big containers of Swiffer cleaning products that I'm just going to then end up throwing away. So this is a great green friendly kind of product, but you know, also just kind of saves money. And because my RV is all red, white, and blue, it is red, white, and blue to match. So I love that one. Then the other one, oh, I've made a ton of popcorn. I've talked on other episodes about all the popcorn that I'm making for my Christmas tree garland. I've been working on that nonstop, but I didn't actually bring any out to show you. And then I ride my motorcycle, but the way that we ride, we don't just ride to one place and then ride back. We usually ride to get to a destination, and then we take off all of our motorcycle gear and put on our regular gear, our regular shoes or hiking shoes, and we hike around and we do these activities. So I did not want to be wearing socks that were tall enough to cover the area of the boot. But this spot in the back, if I don't wear socks that are tall enough, this rubs on the back of my ankle. And it can be very annoying at best and quite painful at worst. So I crocheted some boot kind of socks. They're not actual socks because they don't have feet. They're actually just tubes. But I can put these around my ankles, and then with regular socks on, the low socks that I usually wear. And, you know, I don't have to fold them over because my pant leg's going to cover this, but it just is a little bit of cushion on the back of the ankle, so where it would rub normally. And I've had this yarn, it is Yarn Bee Low Pill. It's one of the first yarns that I bought because I just loved the coloring of it. I love purples. Purple's my favorite color. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, so I'm like, hey, well, there you go. So now I have 2 tubes that I can put over my ankles so that I can wear my motorcycle boots without having to wear high socks. So I love that. Absolutely perfect. Now, this last one, I need your help with. I have been working on this all month. I absolutely love this yarn. This is Sheep G's Secret Garden. And I love the way that this tank top came out, except that I don't like the straps. So here's what it looks like. I think it is absolutely beautiful. Here's the back. The back's pretty much the same. It called for a much thinner strap, but even the thinner strap was even worse. So I modified it and made a thicker strap. But I'm kind of a big-chested girl, if you haven't noticed, and I wear full coverage bras, and even the camis that I've tried to wear underneath this just don't look right. It looks a little too modest that way. So I'm trying to come up with whether I'm just going to kind of expand this and expand this so that I don't have to wear a cami underneath it, or if there is a cami that would look good under it. I need some ideas on what you think I might be able to do to improve the straps and the overall kind of cut of this. I don't mind it being a low cut, but if I wear a cami, usually the camis are not low cut. So then you got this white spot right above the kind of triangle shape there, and it doesn't quite look right. But I don't know, maybe I'm just going to add something extra to it. And if you have any great ideas, I would love your suggestions. So share those with me in the comments. And if you've been watching for a while and you like what I share, make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification button so that you get notified. I put these out pretty much every Sunday. Saying hi to one of the workers here at the campground. And, you know, I put them out on Sundays. so you can watch them, and if you do the notifications, then you can get those notifications. Okay, so what did I use this month? I used up one. Okay, so let's start here. When I count used yarn, that means that most of the skein is pretty much gone. There might be some left that I can use for scrap yarn, but there's not enough to do any sort of significant kind of project with it. So that's how I count that the skein has been used. Even if I finished a project, you know, I might have some of this blue left, but there's enough to continue with another hat. So that doesn't count. I don't count that in my used up. Some people, as soon as you use it, it's counted. That's not me. So how many did I use this month? Let me set that aside. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skeins that I have not enough left for any sort of sizable project. Now what that includes, this is the Red Heart Super Saver in the cherry red, and I had enough left for another project of that, so I just used the rest of that up, and I'm working on, I still have more to go on that project, so I haven't finished the project yet, but I used up that skein. I also used one skein of the Lion Brand Rewind, and that was for this hat. Now I still have another skein that I started on, but have some left of that, so I'm only counting one skein there. I used one skein of the Sugar and Cream, and that was for the mop pad. I only have 2 here, but I would swear that I used 4 of these sheep G's. I know I have 1 left, and I think I had 5 total. So I'm thinking that I'm just missing a couple of these, but I'm only going to count what I kept. So 2 of those, and then here's the yarn bee for the boot covers, and that colorway is Berry Mix. So if you like that, that's what it was. And then I love this cotton. This is what I've been using for the popcorn. So total there, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 skeins of yarn that I've used to almost not usable quantities, other than scraps. Now, how many did I buy this month? Because that's always the big question, right? Well, I gotta tell you, I went to Rhinebeck, and I was really expecting to find this amazing yarn store because it's Rhinebeck, New York. And even though the Sheep and Wool Festival was not going on, I really thought that somebody would have opened a local yarn shop in Rhinebeck. Not so much. That was a total bust. I did not find anything in the way of adorable yarn shops. But sometime in the last week and a half or so, my son sent me a pattern, and he said, if you want to make me something crochet, make me this. And it is a potion bottle that you put gaming dice in for like Dungeons and Dragons, those kind of dice. And of course, when my son says, can you make this for me? Yes, I absolutely am going to do that. And since I'm going to be seeing him and my granddaughter in the next 3 weeks, and they're on the other side of the country. So if I waited until I got home when I could use my stash yarn at home, which I'm sure I have some that I could totally use for this project, but then I'd have to turn around and ship it to him anyway. Am I making excuses for buying yarn? Maybe, but that's okay, because I wanted to be able to give him something when I saw him. So I went to Hobby Lobby was farther, so I ended up going to Joann's. I got it at Joann's. So I got 3 skeins of yarn at Joann's, and it was on sale. So I think I spent around $9. My husband actually has the receipts for that. So does it count if he paid for it?
It doesn't count.
I think it was about $9 for the 3 skeins. So 7 skeins used, 3 skeins gained. So I actually reduced my stash by 4 skeins. I think that is amazing. I think that's pretty great. Being on the road, I'm using up some of the yarn. Like the overhead compartment that I keep all my yarn in is starting to, fish around. Like there's a lot of space up there. I feel like I've used a lot more than I actually have. But for whatever reason, it's still there, and that's what I've used, and that's what I have left. So now I'm working on the potion bottle. I'm also working on using up some of the scrap yarn that I have there. Well, it's not really scrap yarn. There's pretty decent sized quantities of it. And I'm making a rug for my bathroom area in my RV. I'll have to take a picture and show it to you. But my RV is kind of, my bathroom is a square, but then the toilet is in the corner, so it kind of makes like an L-shaped floor space. And I'm not going to find a decent rug for that, but I want a rug in front of both the sink and in front of the shower. So I'm going to make it. Why not? I have the skills. Every time we go shopping, I'm like, I can make that. I can make that. I can make that. It's kind of like all these people making the Taylor Swift dress. You see something, it's easy enough to make, so I'm going to make it. And so I'm working on that. I've got a couple of other smaller projects that I'm working on. I need to make a new lipstick or chapstick holder because I have one of the very first projects I made was one of those cute little chapstick holders. And the yarn has stretched out, so now the chapstick just kind of falls out of it really quickly and easily. So I have to remake one of those, and I think this one I'm going to put a button or something on, and that way I don't have to worry about it falling out, even if the yarn stretches out a little bit. So that's on my project to-do list, but that'll take all of, maybe an hour. And we're getting ready to say goodbye to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law as they head off back west and we head down south to finish up our tours. And so what that means is I'll actually probably have more time to crochet. Not that that's a good thing, because I absolutely love my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. They are super wonderful human beings all around, and I love hanging out with them. But it doesn't give me a ton of time to crochet because I'm always talking to them. And if I'm doing a lot of talking, I'm not doing a lot of counting. Now I could totally do all of the crochet projects that it doesn't take a lot of counting on, and I have, but I also like to be totally present with them as much as I can. So as much as I'm very, very, very sad that we are going our separate ways very soon here, I might get a lot more to report on for the end of July, and we'll see how much I get done this month. So I want to know, what did you get done this month? How's your stash busting? Are you stash busting? I don't know. If you're not, it's totally okay, because this is something that we get to do for ourselves. Do what you feel called to do, not what you feel pressured to do. This should be a zero peer pressure activity. If you love to do Taylor Swift projects and everybody out there is complaining because they are so overseeing Taylor Swift dresses, so what? Go make a Taylor Swift dress. You won't see me doing it because I don't really like that dress. But if I did, I'd be all over making a Taylor Swift dress. So you do you. And remember to sometimes get outside and enjoy the outdoors, because you can still crochet even when you're outside. Get some of that vitamin D, enjoy the light, enjoy the fresh air, but enjoy your craft at the same time. It's a win-win-win, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.